This is a day set aside to honor veterans of the Vietnam War.
50 years have gone by since the start of the war that divided this nation. Senior correspondent Rich Newberg spoke with Vietnam vets today who are looking back on difficult years with mixed emotions. Rich?
Dan McMahon lost a friend in an ambush while on a search and destroy mission in South Vietnam. We talked today about the ravages of war and a nation that did not initially honor its soldiers who did their duty.
Here we go, guys.
Dan McMahon shares a social moment with friends at the VFW post on Grand Island. He was 26 when he went to Vietnam. He had been a Grand Island firefighter before he was drafted and ended up fighting the Viet Cong on search and destroy missions in South Vietnam.
We were looking for landmines and booby traps and Viet Cong. We would stop anybody we saw and check their ID.
They also had to fight malaria, ringworm, and jungle rot. On the worst day for Army Spec 4 Dan McMahon, there was an ambush and a firefight. One of the 3 dead soldiers was one of his friends.
When he was home on leave before he went, he helped build a church down in Pennsylvania, and he was the first funeral out of that church.
Coming home to a divided country was quite difficult for Dan.
It was very lonely. Nobody knew I was home. Nobody seemed to care other than my close friends and family.
It was sad because they fought so hard for our freedom. They had our backs, but we didn't have theirs.
Dan was at the VA hospital in Buffalo for a special ceremony when Vietnam vets were finally welcomed home by their fellow Americans.
I'm very proud I served. I'm very proud that I was able to defend the freedoms of the United States and protect the freedoms that we enjoy. I would go back again if we had to.
After the war, Dan became one of the first paramedics in the Grand Island Fire Company. Today, he is the Erie County Council Commander for the Veterans of Foreign Wars.